a look. 24-year-old Maitrez Woolen is charged with capital murder in the 2021 shooting death of Pastor Mark McWilliams. Authorities say Woolen was hiding in the bathroom of Starrville Methodist Church when Pastor McWilliams confronted him with a gun. Authorities say there was a struggle. Then Woolen got control of the gun and shot McWilliams. In 2021, Woolen was deemed incompetent to stand trial and taken to Vernon State Hospital. Today, Woolen was back at the Smith County Courthouse, you can see it in this video, after the facility returned him to mental competency. The state has filed an application with the hospital requesting records to discover the full scope of his medical treatment. Woolen's defense asked if the state is considering the death penalty, but District Attorney Jacob Putman says that discussion will happen further down the line. Another status hearing will be held in 30 to 60 days. No trial date has been set yet. Well, it's day 4 of the